you could be good and fast, meaning that, hey, I need a really fast turnaround, even faster than normal on this music video. So instead of taking 2 weeks, I want you to have it in 1 week, right? To shoot and do post-production. Good and fast, but guess what it won't be? It won't be cheap. You're paying for that. For that priority, and for that speed. The fact that I may have to work 17, 18-hour days or more, 20-hour days on your project to get it out by your deadline, you're not going to get the same rate as somebody who's giving me a whole 2 weeks to get it done. Because that's like the standard amount of time for most music videos. All right? So I said, be good and fast, be good and cheap. In this case, it won't be fast. It can be fast and cheap. This is one of the ones that you guys make sure you know. This last one is not an option for you guys, but I'll talk about it. It can be fast and cheap. But if it's fast and cheap, what is it not going to be? Good. It's not going to be good. I tell people all the time, don't waste your time as a professional. Don't waste your time working on anything that you do not want to put in your portfolio. Anything that you don't want to show other people and say, hey, I did this for so-and-so. Look at this. This is really good. Now, I know that we all need money. I get that. So you say, hey, you know what? I don't like this project. I want to do this project. But they're paying, they're paying a lot of money for it. I'll say, weigh very carefully how much you need that money. Okay? Because it may be a situation where it has strings attached. That's one of the reasons I stopped doing weddings very early in my career as an independent filmmaker, right? And why I always encourage students, yeah, if you have to get your start doing that, maybe. But don't, stay there forever. For this reason, when you are shooting a wedding, you are basically at the behest of a very, usually, not all the time, but 99.9% of the time, a very bossy, fussy, impatient, overworked bride. Those are the ones who want to organize shooting that wedding. Secondly, when you're working with a person who you're shooting their working, are you working with somebody who knows what you do as a video production person or as a filmmaker? No. You're not working with somebody who knows what you do or how you do it. So as a result, they don't have realistic expectations most of the time for how much it's going to cost or how long it's going to take. Or the fact that I'm not going to spend every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday sitting next to you having discussions about me editing this, shooting this, or editing this project, because that would take way more time than I have to dedicate to this project, and it's just annoying. Because the fact that what it is because they don't know your craft, you'll be spending a whole lot of time explaining to them why doing it their way makes no sense. Or, no, I can't get unless you use stock footage, I can't get footage where I'm going to start off this film with a vista of a wide angle of the entire city of Atlanta to set up your wedding video. I can't show you I can't have any original footage that shows the whole planet Earth and zooms into now there's some special effects things you may be able to do if they have the time and they have the budget, or you have the time and they have the budget. But a lot of times, people who are not in the industry are going to assault you with stupid ideas like that. Having to sit through that slows you down and frustrates you. So that's what happens when you work with people who are not in your field. Now, I'm not just talking about filmmaking, I'm talking about any field, graphic design, 3D animation, photography, whatever. All right? So, that's why I don't do that. And it normally doesn't pay much to do weddings. And second of all, not compared to how much you bring to the table. If you're a good, like me, I wouldn't do wedding videos. I did short documentaries, or sometimes they weren't so short. I do documentaries. So I'll be going into the grooms, where the groomsmen are getting dressed, and I'll be doing interviews with the groomsmen and talking to the mother of the bride and talking to the father of the bride and showing the caterers setting stuff up. It's more than just, here's just, the event. This is just the wedding, the I-dos and snap the tape and there you go. Yes. But that's me. That's how I work. Yes.
So do you write treatments for those?
You can. If there's like a specific, if there is a specific type of angle that you want to go, like say for example, you're like, hey, this young lady who's getting married, her father died, and she never thought she would get married, and it's very emotional because now maybe her older brother is walking her down the aisle and getting the story of what happened to dad, maybe he died of cancer or a car accident, and getting all of that in there to be that emotional tug. That may be the type of program you may want to, or type of project you may want to write a treatment for, all right? But then you can see in that case, it's only partly about the wedding. It's mostly about this emotional transition that this woman is making, which is not just about the wedding. The wedding is just the context. It's really also about her story. See what I'm saying? So that's why that would be closer to a documentary than just recording an event in a way. That's not the kind of, as they say in the movie Predator, which I'm pretty sure none of you guys have seen. That's not the kind of work. Remember with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they killed the camp full of the illegal Sandinistas, or the illegal that army that was doing things or whatever, and then they found out that this was a scam set up by the CIA, and they're not killing these people for the right reasons. And then when
Arnold.
Not Arnold. Apollo. Thank you. Carl Weathers. When Carl Weathers, who was like a representative of the CIA or whatever, told them, well, okay, yeah, this isn't really about them being combative to drug dealers. There's something else bigger going on. He said, sorry, Arnold Schwarzenegger said, sorry, but this is the kind of work I do. You know what I mean? And that's what I often have to tell people. I know that's a long way around, but this ain't the kind of work I do. Don't be afraid to tell people that, okay? Because you're doing both you and the prospective client favor, all right? Yes?
I know Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's playing the Terminator.
Sure.
Yeah, because he's not a human in the movie, because he's
Yes.
Because inside the body, because I think he has.
Yeah, okay, we know what the Terminator is.
No, respect everybody. Go ahead.
Because inside his body has electronic, like hardware.
Sure.
Like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I had like computers, like they have.
Sure. Absolutely.
Scan it, yeah.
Absolutely.
Red.
Good. Very good. Very good. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Yes.
So, okay, you said weddings kind of, they can be a little bit iffy.
What's that?
You said like shooting weddings or just dealing with.
Oh, I would say iffy for me. I just don't do it. But some people might do them, and you can make money off of them. But there's a certain working condition that, and it's not necessarily all weddings, but to me, the chances of being in that, having what they call that bridezilla.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's too risky. And I'm like, you know what? I don't really want to get angry and end up drinking a bunch of alcohol. So I'm not going to take this job. Yes.
So is it kind of similar to like music videos?
No, music videos are a little more directed. Most of the time, the artist at least has some idea of what they want, or maybe somebody in management for the artist or the record label. They have some idea of what they want, maybe kind of a vague idea, but you always kind of steer them in the right direction. But with weddings, like I said, it's nobody who's ever done this before ever is giving you any kind of directions on what the bride wants, and you have to kind of make it up yourself. And I guarantee you, 9 times out of 10, your first 5 attempts will be wrong. I don't care. I don't care what you do. Also, you got to look. There's a big emotional component because this is the bride's big day. She has a whole lot invested here, so that kind of gets in the way of being objective. She'll say stuff like, "Well, how come?" Look at the footage and post. How come there's not a shot of Aunt Betty in here? Okay, number one, you didn't even tell me you had an Aunt Betty when I shot this. Number two, you didn't direct me to, hey, this is the person you need to highlight in the film when I was shooting. Okay.
All you do is read my mind.
Yeah, and that's how people who are in the industry, they just figure, well, somehow he has that footage. Take it, no, unless it was like obscure. Of course, I'm gonna have a wedding, I'm gonna have some guests and all that kind of stuff. I might even have a lot of close-ups. I will have a lot of close-ups on the guests, but I may not have a lot of footage of the person you want because you didn't tell me that ahead of time. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of times you just can't, I can't understand that. What do you mean you don't have a picture of a shot of Aunt Betty eating the cake? Very specific. I want a shot of Aunt Betty eating a piece of wedding cake with her right hand while holding the rose in her left hand. I'll say something stupid like that. You know what I mean? And it's like I didn't know any of this information before, like just now.
Why aren't the dishes in alphabetical order?
Right, stuff like that. And so that's why I just choose not to be honest with you. I'm at the age and level where I just don't have the temperament or patience to deal with any client that's not in the industry because there's too much I have to explain. And it kind of gets in my way of working. It's not that I don't like them or I'm a mean person or anything like that. It's just that how do you work? I want to work. You know what I mean? Not explain to you what I'm doing 10 times and then go do it. You know, tell me what you want. Absolutely. Like Burger King says, have it your way. I'm giving you what you want, but you know, let me work kind of, once you tell me what you want, kind of clear out and let me work. And then I'll give you what I want. I'll give you what you want, rather. That also kind of reminds me of how like say an HVAC person works, right? So your AC breaks down, okay? And you hire somebody to come and fix it, and you don't follow behind that person and watch every single thing they do to fix your AC and make commentary and, you know, hey, well, what's that? Or why are you doing it like that? Or you do it like this instead of like that? You probably wouldn't do that, right? Yeah, I mean, unless you're an HVAC person yourself. And if you were, then probably just fix the air conditioning yourself, right? But that's what how a lot of people do video production people. They figure anybody can do this, any bozo can do this. So, you know, I want to have my creative input on this project. I'll be a producer on this project, and that's just super annoying, and it slows you down. Any questions on the cheap, fast, and good? Remember that. That's a very important tool. Yes.
I had a friend who told me that one time.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
same pyramid, and I didn't listen to him. I ended up doing a project for somebody like that.
Yeah. Cheap and fast, or good and fast, or cheap and good, which I don't, well, cheap and good, good and fast, or fast and cheap. I don't recommend fast and cheap, because it won't be good, all right? But they can't have all three, all right? There will be people who will insist that they have all three, you know? And if after a while you can't convince them they can't have all three, walk away, or ready to run away. Do not work with that client. Something else you need to be careful of in your art, no matter what your art form is infinite revisions. Does anybody know what infinite revisions means?
You gotta do it all over again and again and again and
Not
again.
necessarily from the beginning, but go ahead.
Now, basically, any part of the project, the client wants you to fix over,
Right.
depending, no matter what part of the project.
Right. Yeah, they may want you to make an adjustment. I'm not talking about you did something wrong. There's a shot that is blurry, and you painted the wife in a green dress and she's supposed to be in a blue dress. I'm not talking about anything like that. Technically, you did everything. First, we did everything they asked for, right? But then they changed their mind, right? And they want something else. And then you show them that, and like, I don't really like it now that I see it. I want you to put it back to what it was, and I want to change something else. You could spend the rest of your lifetime doing that, and the project will never be over. And a lot of people will say, hey, because I paid you $20 to edit this wedding video, I think that my $20, you should have to sit with me and do these revisions over and over. I don't care if it takes years until I'm satisfied with it. That is not how it works.
The trick is they're never satisfied.
Yeah, a lot of times they're never satisfied because of what? They don't know what they want. And that's the number one issue you will always have with clients. I've told you about it, the professor was about the bone, you're really paying attention now. That is the number one issue you have with clients. They don't know what they want, right? So if you don't know what you want, you'll never find it. You know, and as an artist, if you don't know if I don't know what you want, I can't give you what you want because you don't know what it is. I can try a whole bunch of different things, but you can say, oh, well, no, that doesn't feel right, that doesn't feel right either. So yeah, that's one thing. As artists, sometimes we have to kind of get an idea, a feel of what they want, even if they don't know it yet, and kind of usher them in that direction. Kind of nudge them, give them some strong tools. Well, how about this? And show it to them. Well, I can do three things. I can do this, this, or this. Because once you give them the idea that anything, the sky is the limit, and they can have any, you know, that's when you end up catching the case. I didn't catch a case in here. You know what I mean? So, because a lot of times they don't understand not only how much training and education you had to get to do what you're doing, but on top of that, they don't understand how much time and effort you're putting into it when they're not around. You know what I mean? They don't understand that.
They kind of think like you just push a button.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I'll talk to you guys more about that kind of stuff. Like I said, especially as if you are just starting off into the design field, you will run into these situations. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. One other I'll tell you really quickly, because this one really pisses me off. When people will expect students to work for free. Now, I'm not talking about I got an internship at Tyler Perry Studios or Stankonia or Patchwork or whatever, and I'm working in that internship and it's not paid. I'm working with other professionals, well, actually professionals who are higher than I am, and I am learning from them, okay? So that's different. You're getting something in exchange for your time and your work there. You're learning, right? On the job, hands-on, learning. However, with a realtor, this is my situation with the student I tell you I was working with this first client. The realtor basically wants you to shoot and edit a documentary and says, hey, this will be good experience for you, filmmaker.
I'll pay you an exposure.
Right, they say that a lot. At one point I said, oh really, realtor? Tell me what other things you can do to help my career as a filmmaker. And since we're giving out great advice on topics we know nothing about, I, who know nothing about real estate, will give you career advice on being a good realtor. Right? So usually that's just game to try to get you to work for free. You know what I mean? When they do stuff like that. And once again, if that's a situation where it's like, look, I have nothing to gain from this, then I might get paid, and the project may not even be one that you were like, hey, I want to put it on my reel. This is a great opportunity. If somebody says to you, hey, I'll use the name because you guys know it. Sexy Red. Actually, I've done this, so I can give you a name you guys know.
Lotto.
Thank you. How do you do that? How do you say that?
Cause Lotto my baby.
Okay, well, actually, I worked on a project for her back in 2019 when she was still going by Mulatto, and it was actually a former student of mine that was producing a music video of hers, and came to me and asked me if I could do some color correction, which ended up being color correction and editing. And they didn't really have a budget, but I said to them, hey, I'll do it as a favor because I was trying to get into Lotto's gang as far as music videos and stuff like that. The song was not very good. It's the one she did with Easy Money. I don't know if you've seen this one. This is 5-6 years ago. One she did with Easy Money, and she was out at Lake Lanier, and The cinematographer, the director did not know what they were doing. They were shooting all kinds of frame rates and different resolutions on different cameras. Nothing fit together. It was like getting a whole bunch of jigsaw puzzle pieces, but none of them fit together. Okay? So I spent a lot of time fixing that situation. But the only reason I took it, it was kind of a nightmare, but the only reason I took it was because of the fact that I was trying to get in with Lotto's game. Because I knew, everybody knew she was gonna be big. But by the end of that project, it was not.
It wasn't
not
worth
very-
it.
It wasn't, no, the song wasn't good, it went nowhere. This is near the beginning of her career. And this is the people I was working with, like I said, they didn't really know their craft, but I was like, you know what, next project, that's all right. You know, I know she's working with a different group of people now, because her stuff looks much better. You know, back then, nothing. So any questions on any of that? Let's take a break, it's 2:23, let's come back to 2:45.
Alright, I'm
And
finna
look
head
at
out.
our PowerPoint
Make
and
sure
how
y'all
to be more
like, comment,
creative.
subscribe, turn on post notifications, do all the good stuff.
And move on from there, yes, sir.